What is going on? It's Vincent here and I'm back with another video. Now today we don't have that much to do, but what I can do today is get the new wheels on and lower the car a bit. I'll also go into more detail about how to actually adjust your coilovers, whether you want to raise it or lower it, because in my last video I gave a really brief explanation, and if you didn't catch my last video, go check it out right here. It's about how to actually install the coilovers. Since we're going to be adjusting the coilovers now and installing new wheels, we could finally get rid of this monster truck status over here. Before we actually start, I'll show you guys the new wheels that I got. Boom. Alright, here are the new wheels that I got. These are the Avid 1 AV18s. These things are 15 by 8 with plus 25 offset, and they're wrapped in 195 by 45 Proxy T1Rs. Alright, I know what you guys are thinking. These are cheap wheels with just average tires, but the cool part is that I got a set of 4 for only $300. And these tires are basically brand new. I'm just happy with these because the tires I have on the car right now that I got the car with are actually 10 years old. I'm really surprised that I didn't die driving this car around because of those tires. Now before we put these on the car, let's get them cleaned up because they're completely filthy. I don't know how long they've been sitting in someone's garage, so let's go do that right now. So I've got the car jacked up. Let's use the big torquey boy and get these wheels off. There we go. So here's the old wheel and tire, and I really wasn't lying when I said these tires were 10 years old. This was made in the 21st week of 2010. And these tires are completely shot. These tires are completely dry rotted and they're completely useless now. Every leather here has a crack around it. It's kind of hard to see. There's big cracks on the sidewall here, which is so dangerous, and even the tread has cracks in between it like this. I honestly have no clue how these tires did not blow up when I drove them around, hitting all of those potholes and cracks. So I guess shout out to Michelin for making good quality tires. Now besides the wheels, I also went ahead and bought Hub-centric rings, and this is a 73.1mm to 54.1mm. And I'll explain what those numbers mean right now. The 73.1 is the measurement of the outer diameter of this ring, and that fits onto the inner diameter of the wheel. And the 54.1 is the measurement of the inner diameter of the ring, which is the measurement of the ring around the hub right here. So here's the back of the wheel, and you grab the Hub-centric ring and it goes into the middle just like that. Now if you imagine that this ring is inside the wheel right now and you place the wheel on top of the hub, it's gonna sit perfectly over the hub and basically center the wheel around the hub to keep it well balanced. If you also want to get yourself a set of these, then go ahead to the description below and I'll have a link right there. Every wheel and car has different sizes, so make sure that you get the right one for your wheel and the right one for your car. And in my case, it's 73.1 to 54.1. These things are only around like 15 bucks, so I would say to get them anyways. I also went ahead to get some new lug nuts because generally when you get aftermarket wheels, you're gonna need new lug nuts with it. These are 12 by 1.5 Gorilla lug nuts, and you can get them on Amazon for a pretty good price. They're all security nuts, so that means that each one needs this key to unscrew it. And if you ever lose the key, then just follow the directions on the sticker that it comes with and they'll send you a new key. You can also get yourself a set of these in the link down below. And again, make sure that you get the right size for your car with the right shape for your wheel. Alright, so let's start off with the back wheel first. I would say to put the hub ring onto the hub first so that if you try putting a wheel on, it's not going to fall out of the wheel. So we'll just stick that right there. Alright, now that the hub ring is on, we'll go ahead and get the wheel on. And make sure you get the wheel on the right side of the car because some tires are directional, which means that they belong either on the left or the right side of the car. And it's really dangerous because let's say you put them on the wrong side and it starts raining, then instead of the tread pushing the water away from the tire, it's going to push it into the middle of the tire and you're going to water plane and you could potentially crash your car. You can tell if it's directional or not by looking at the sidewall of the tire. There's usually an arrow of sorts like this and some words saying forward, left, or right. The arrow shows you the directional rotation of the tire, and this means that it's on the left side of the car. If it says right, then it's actually going to be on the right side of the car. If it belongs on the right side of the car, it's going to say right and the arrows will be on this side. If it doesn't say left or right and only says forward with some arrows, then you just gotta be smart and put the wheels on in a way that the arrows roll forward when you drive forwards. So this arrow over here shows the directional rotation of the tire, which means that this tire rotates this way, which means on the left side it's gonna rotate like that. If you were to put this tire on the right side, it would actually start pushing the water towards the middle of the tread when you run over water. So these wheels are on the correct side of the car, so let's get them on. We'll just start it by hand first. Now that we've got one wheel on, we could go ahead and do the rest of them. We'll lower the car, see how we like the fitment, and then we'll adjust the coilovers after that to get the fitment that we like. So I've got the wheels on all four corners now. I'm gonna take it off the jacks, and then we'll see how the fitment is and see if we have to adjust the coilovers. So right now is the moment of truth to see if we have a giant gap or if it's clean fitment. Oh, that's not bad. So the front fitment isn't that bad. I will lower it a bit. But if we go to the back, I think it actually might have gotten worse. I can still definitely fit my foot in there, so we're gonna definitely lower the back, and we'll lower the front a bit just to get a more flush fitment. Now let's start actually lowering the car with the coilovers. This coilover has independent adjustable ride height and adjustable spring preload, which means that I can adjust how high or low I want the car to be without messing with the springs. Also, since these springs are linear, changing the preload won't really change anything like the spring rate, so I'll just leave them alone. And since I won't be messing around with the springs, you should go ahead and make sure both of these collars are locked together before adjusting the height, or else they might come loose later on. You can do that by taking the spanners and locking them onto the collars, and then spinning the bottom collar this way, while spinning the top collar this way. To give you a better idea, you're basically going to move the bottom collar like this, and move the top collar like this at the same time. So it'll be like this. So we'll just lock these on, like that, and then give them a push, make sure that they're tight. Okay, there we go. So I started off by measuring from the bottom of this collar to the bottom of this collar, and I measured around 3.5 inches. So I think I'm gonna lower this setup by about 1/2 inch and bring the distance to around 3 inches flat. The first thing you wanna do is take your spanner and lock it onto the lower collar right here. And then once it's on, then you just smack it loose, like that. And then you just wanna loosen this up and bring it up however much you wanna lower your car. In my case, I'm gonna drop it about 1/2 inch, so I'll just raise this up about 1/2 inch. Then we'll take our big spanner and lock it onto the big collar up here, and start spinning the whole body clockwise to thread it into the lower body right here. Now I think I've spun the body down far enough, so I'm gonna drop this collar back down. Then get your small spanner and just tighten the bottom one back up. And then go ahead and measure the bottom of this collar and the bottom of this collar again. So we'll do that right now, and it's about 3 inches, so I'm fine with this side. Now this side is set, go ahead and do the same thing on the other side and make sure that they're at the same height. So I've got all four corners of this car adjusted now. I'm gonna drop it down and we'll check on the fitment. So here's the new fitment, and we'll do the shoe test right now. I could just barely get my toes in there. If we move on to the back, I think this looks really good too. It's a little lower than the front, and I could just barely get it in there. I know that some of you guys in the comments said to get it low, but to keep it practical. Yeah, the fitment's not amazing, but this is basically the lowest I can get it before it starts scraping on my garage. Before it was actually scraping on the corner of this garage right here, so I ended up taking out the tiles just to give it that extra little bit of clearance that I needed so I won't scrape anymore. I know that's not really low or anything like that, it's not really low in general, but this is kind of the lowest I can get before I start destroying my frame rails. But I'm actually talking to someone to see if I could buy a set of frame rails off of their car. So let's cross our fingers and hope we can close this deal, and I'll get a set of frame rails and I'll show you guys how to install it on this car. Oh, it's not focusing. Focus, there we go. I think this actually looks really good. I would have preferred silver wheels, but I'm okay with that. $300, I don't really care. People are telling the truth when they say wheels and coilovers can change the look of a whole car. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is a good fitment for now? And you think this is a nice wheel setup for this car? I might get some wheel spacers because I kind of like more of a poking fitment, whereas right now it kind of goes under the fender and like, you know what I mean. It's not flush with the fender, so I might get some wheel spacers for that. The back is not as bad, but I think it's pretty clean for now. We'll see how this rides, then we'll see what else we want to buy for the setup. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this wheel setup and this ride height, and I guess give me a rating out of 10 on what you guys think. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, keep smiling, and I'll see you guys next time.